Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ria, this is Ellen & Co, and here I am teaching you to create and curate your dream wardrobe. Today's video is the first of making my spring wardrobe. I've had a really cute dress in mind for a couple months now, and I've just been waiting to find the right fabric for it. And I have found this beautiful Italian summer tile. There's been a few of these this season around, but when I saw this one, it has my two favorite colors in it, which are rust and baby blue. So I was like, yep, that's the one. You're coming home with me. Yeah, you're coming with me. Shrek reference. So I'm going to insert some photos of the design I have in mind. So it's very much like bustier, bust cup, fitted skirt, tailored, very chic, and I wanted to put a lot of lace trim on it. And I realized I actually have a pattern for this. In my stash, I have the Rose Cafe pattern, the Rose Cafe dress pattern. It's by Daria Pattern Making, and it's a really, really good one. It's very popular because she's done a really good job. So 10 out of 10 would recommend. With all of my videos, I want there to be a takeaway of some kind of tips and tricks that you can then take and insert into your own sewing life. And this video here is specifically for my fellow big booty. And before you're like, Ria, what? If you've ever had the struggle of going and trying on a dress or any type of clothing that fits you in the top, like the bust and the waist, and doesn't fit your butt, or you get pants and they fit your butt but they gape at the waist, then you are who I'm talking about. And I feel like most women can relate to this. My hip to waist measurement ratio is extremely disproportionate, and it can be a little bit frustrating sometimes. It's actually part of the reason why I really got into making my own clothes, because it meant that I could get custom fit. But I do find even with a lot of patterns, my hip measurement will fall like 1 to 2 sizes higher than my bust and waist. I have to make adjustments so that any patterns, especially dresses, they need to like blend from my waist over my hip, allow ease, also not just in the width of the fabric required, but also the length. So I wanted to show you guys how I make those adjustments and those tips and tricks. So hopefully, if you're like me and you've been a gym girly and you've been working on your glutes and squatting hard, you can still get a good fitting dress and not having to be reefing it down all the time. So I'm going to show you guys how I fix those problems for myself and hopefully for you too. Now I've pre-washed my fabric. I am yet to iron it. I have cut out the pattern, the top half. I just need to go now and make adjustments to the skirt, which I will take you guys along for the ride for. So let's get our scissors, our pencils, our baking paper, and let's head out to the kitchen table. Okay, so I've got both of my pattern pieces here, both the front and the back skirt, and I haven't cut it out yet. It's still on the pieces of paper, and the way that Daria has done this makes this process so much easier. So to give you guys a couple of the landmarks, which I think again is just a reason why this pattern is so great, she's marked the hip line both at the front and the back skirt, and then obviously the grain, and then the darts and all of that sort of thing. But having this hip line marked so clearly is going to make a world of difference. The other thing that's really great about this pattern is she's marked the seam allowance as seam allowance. So this is where the actual dress will come to, and this is the seam allowance here. So when I measure the front skirt, it's 10.6 inches. And then when I measure the back skirt, it's 10 inches exactly. So when I do the maths on that and go 10.6 times 2, 21.2 plus 20, because we know that 10 times 2 is 20, that gives us a total width across the hip of 41 inches and 2. So we know that the total hip measurement of this skirt when it's finished, no seam allowance included, is 41 inches and 2. My hip measurement is 40 inches. So that only gives like an inch and 2. And if we divide that across the 4 seams, that's only 0.3 of an inch of ease along each seam. It's not a lot. I don't want this to be a super pencil skirty skirt on me. I want it to have a lot more ease, and I want it to stick out from my hips a little bit more. So I'm actually going to add a full 2 inches to the hip, and I need to divide that by 1, 2, 3, 4 seams because we get this cut on the fold and 2 of these. So that gives us 4 seams in total. So that's pretty easy. 2 divided by 4 is 0.5. And this is why I sometimes work in inches instead of centimeters, because you get these exact numbers, which is really nice. So the fact that she's got these hip lines marked out makes it really easy. So what I'm going to do, and again, the seam allowance is included, so I don't have to worry about adding that in because it's already there. So I'm just going to go 1/2 inch off the seam allowance here. Yep. And then again on this side as well. I'm going to mark that with my black pen. So it's a little bit easier to see. And what we basically need to do is smooth this line into here and down. This is going to follow, and this will end up sticking out more because obviously I don't want my skirt to like go in like that, because again, I want it to flare out. I don't want it to be pencil skirty, but this waist measurement is correct. So I don't want to disturb this in any way, shape or form because I know that that's correct. So because I don't have a French curve, I just kind of have to follow like with my eye and just kind of mark that in. I also couldn't find my ruler, so I'm just using this for the straight line part, which isn't too difficult. So it's just following this down. So hopefully you guys can see now how I've script that down to that point. This part here, along here, the measurement will not change. It'll still fit my waist, but I've just added that 1/2 inch on each side, gives us 2 inches in total. The other thing I like to do is add a tiny bit of length to the back of the skirt as well, just so that there is enough to scoop over the booty, because it can be a little bit tricky. If you've got around a space, you need more fabric to go over it. So having your back be the same length as your front when your front has a lot less curves is, counterintuitive. So I'm just going to add 1/2 inch. Oh, look at that, matches up perfectly. I'm just going to add 1/2 inch to my backs as well, and then just scoop it out like so, matching up. And that just means there's going to be a little bit extra to go over the peach. So hopefully that gives you guys a little bit of an idea of what you can do if you're in between sizes, if your waist is one size but your hip is another. This is a really great way to make those adjustments. You just need to make sure whatever you're adding, you're dividing evenly among your seams. So that's how I make these adjustments for these dresses, by lengthening out at the width of the hip and adding a tiny little bit extra at the bottom of the back skirt. Anyway, I'm going to cut this out now. Because this fabric has quite a lot of tiles and quite a few different patterns, I want to match the patterns up. So I'm just trying to use as many landmarks as possible. So I've got the hip here, which is matched up on this tile to this leaf. And then the little dip of the hem is matched up to this red spot on this palm tree. And I've had to flip the back piece over. That's why it looks like this. Also, look at me using up scrap paper to print my stuff out, being sustainable. I'm just trying to match up the same landmarks. So I've matched up the hip to the leaf and the dip of the hem to this red dot as well, because this seam will match up with that seam. as you can see, it's got like this flowery bit and this strap, and then this flowery bit and this strap. So yeah, I won't have to do it so much for the bodice because there's a lot of different pieces, but I just want to make sure I've matched this up as best as I can. And I think I have, so I'm going to pin it and then cut it out. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I cut all the pieces out, but I wanted to show you the piece that I used to cut out this top part of the bust cup, because on the original pattern, it's just like this. As I said, I want the straps to be connected. So I basically just took this piece and like curved this up. And it's slightly like on the 45-degree or like slightly on the cross grain. So it'll have a bit of stretch so that it sits like flat over my shoulder. So all the pieces are cut out. It's about time to get sewing them. Oh my gosh, look at that. So that is all done. I've basically done one stitch right in the crevice and one stitch right on top. So it's pretty sturdy. I'm so happy. It's so beautiful. Okay, I'm gonna do the other side now, attach that, do the lace, do the bust cups. Oh yeah, it's all coming together. So it was all put together and in one piece, and I was really happy about it, but I kept trying it on and these cups are just too big, and I don't want to run the risk of moving forward with them being too big because I know it's not going to look good. So I marked while it was still in where it was creasing, so basically like this part is empty and it just looked really gross. So I'm going to remove this amount here. I've also removed a bit from this top section through here. To give you like some context, I removed like that, like 2.5 centimeters, because the cup was just too big. So I think Daria has a tutorial on how to do this. I'm just gonna kind of wing it. I just want it to fit properly and not look too big. So I might not even cut this. I might just match up and go from there and then try it on and maybe baste it in with like a stay stitch and just see how we go. Okay, so I've gone ahead and adjusted the cups, and they're not lining up as perfectly in this line here as they were before, but I've went and done a try on, and I'm so glad. I end up having to take this much out of the base of the cups because the cup was too big. So my lesson here is again to make a toile. Like, I'm not too worried. I knew what needed to be done. Like, this wasn't that difficult for me. But I guess if you haven't made this pattern before, my recommendation still remains the same. Make a toile. And if you have to make it in a new size, like I did, still make a toile. But I'm really happy that I did that because, yeah, I would have just regretted it if I hadn't taken that bulk out. It wasn't sitting properly. So it's going to sit a lot better now. Okay, things are going really, really well. I have pretty much half done, or like 3/4 done the lining. So I just used some like really lightweight drill for the lining and I've boned it. I didn't do any boning channels because there's only a centimetre seam allowance and I only had like 1/2 inch boning, so I've just like sewn the Ridgeline down. I remembered to put my tag in this time, so that's good. I've put in this cup and I've pinned it like this because I wanted to see what it looked like with a pad in there or like a bust cup. And I think that looks really good when I tried it on. So I just need to basically take this last lining bust cup. Have I trimmed it down already? Oh my god, I can't remember if I've trimmed it down. No, I haven't. I need to sew this part here and then I need to trim away the same amount that I trimmed on here, and I just realized I probably shouldn't have sewn that on until I cut that away. But that's fine. We'll just measure it again. Yeah, and then I can start really getting this attached to the proper bodice. I want to move quickly because this is starting to fray a lot. So let's see how we go. I'm so excited. All right, so I've got my lining and my shell all pinned up together at the neckline. So this is what I'm going to sew first. I'm basically going to start up at the top of the strap in one continuous line and go all the way around. And then I'm going to have to clip it all and then understitch it. Let's do it. So for all intents and purposes, the bodice is done. It is lined. It is boned. I just need to put these pads in because I think having it padded will be a good idea, just so that there's some extra support. So I'm going to these are like push-up. Okay, so the zipper is all basted in. Obviously, I need to put it in properly. And look at hopefully my seam matching comes through. I haven't attached the lining. What I need to do now before I properly put in the zip and then attach the lining in is to quickly unpick these seams here and then insert that and sew that in. I'm going to try it on. I'm going to attach the straps properly. I'll then put the zipper in properly, make it nice and invisible, and then I can attach the lining to the zipper and then hem the whole thing, and then it should be done. So I marked up where I wanted the hem to actually finish, which is the green pin, and then where I would need to cut, which, if you saw before, is where that pink pin is on this part here. So that's where I want to cut. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that away. It's about an inch and a half along the bottom that needs to be removed. And as you can see, I've cut that from the bottom. It was just a bit too long when I tried it on, but because the back is longer, even though I'm cutting an inch and a half all the way across, it'll still be a little bit longer in the back. I always like to mark where I want the hem to be and then the seam allowance I need for that actual hem below. And I always like to do a little bit of a thicker hem at the bottom of dresses like these. And as you can see, it's quite scooped at the back. The back is longer than the front. And because it's got that little bit of a curve, it is a sort of rounded hem. So I like to do a rolled hem. So I do like a basting stitch first, kind of tighten it, pull on it a bit, and then do the proper hem after. Okay, so the dress is done. I'm so excited to show you guys. I am very, very proud. Yeah, I have no other comments except the dress is done, and I'm going to show you in 3, 2, 1. Look, I'm pretty proud of this one. I'm not gonna lie. There were a lot of things with this dress that I was nervous about, things that could go wrong, mainly the bust cups and also the pattern matching, but I'm glad I listened to my intuition, didn't second guess myself, and removed the excess fabric in the bust because, yeah, it wouldn't have been cute, and it turned out really well. And putting in the boning and the padding, that was a really good idea. And the back seam, I don't know if you guys can tell, I'll insert a photo, but the pattern is matched pretty much almost perfectly down the middle. So I'm very happy with this. Not only am I happy with those two things, but the fit, like the skirt could not be a better fit. I feel comfortable. I feel like because it is that little bit shorter at the front and it has that scoop in the back, even though it looks like it's a cheeky hemline, I feel really comfortable and I'm not worried about like any issues because of the way that it scoops down. So hopefully if you guys have the same issue, if you find it difficult to find a skirt that fits, or you're one size in the waist but another size in the hip, I hope that this video has helped you to figure out, you know, how you can fix that and how you can blend your patterns together to have more of a custom fit. My microphone died, but I was saying that if you liked this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, notification bell, you get notified every time that I upload. I am trying to upload new videos every week so that I'm providing you guys with really good content to make your own clothes, because I feel like, don't you want to be able to make like a cute little custom dress that fits your measurements? Anyway, thank you guys so much. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!